Look at somebody and tell them, I'm on the move. I'm on the move. Now, this is something that's interesting because if you're going to continue on this move, you've got to hear this. You have to be ready and you have to be prepared for the move. Touch somebody and tell them, you need to get prepared. You have to be prepared. And the number one thing that you have to be prepared with is humility. Somebody said you got to be humble. You got to be humble. See, when I was growing up, my grandmother told me, she would always say, son, the humble child takes the grace. You got to be humble. And I understand sometimes people mistake your humility for weakness. But I heard a preacher once say that humility is not weakness, when in fact humility is strength in control. I feel something. It's almost like the day they saw you crying, even though they thought you were crying because you were defeated, you were crying because you wanted to cuss them out, but he maketh me to lie down. Lord, see, sometimes the old you wants to get up, and the old you wants to flat their tire, the old you wants to key their car, the old you wants to bust their window. Y'all looking at me strange now, but when the old me wants to get up, he maketh me to lie down. Touch somebody and tell them, I'm glad he made me. I know they say God don't force you. Well, I didn't say he forced me. I said he maketh me. I wanted to quit coming to church, but he made me lay down. I wanted to drop off the choir, but he made me lay down. Touch somebody and tell them, I'm glad he maketh me. Y'all acting mighty quiet. Come on, scream at somebody like you ain't scared and tell them he maketh me to lie down. You know how much trouble some of us would have been, or you know you would have been somewhere on Leeds Avenue in County Jail on your way up to Columbia somewhere because you, but I'm glad he maketh me to lie down. Oh yeah, he made you. You ever been sitting there biting your nails like, ooh, I want to say something, but he made you lay down. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Come on, touch somebody and tell them, I thank God for his name. I thank God for his name. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. See, what you got to understand about the name of the Lord concerning our life, your life now, your faith is like a book. Now, what would make you say that, Minister Wilson? I say this because the Hebrew writer says, looking unto Jesus, who was the author and the finisher of my faith. That Hebrew word finisher does not mean one who finishes. It means one who publicizes or one who publishes. So God is the author and the publisher of my faith. He's the author and the publisher of my life, which means that the reason why you are ordained and predestined to receive everything that God has for you is because anytime you deal with a book, a good author always autographs it. I wish you'd touch somebody and tell him, I got his name on me. Oh my God. You ought to touch somebody and tell him, God just co-signed for my miracle. And his credit is good, baby. Touch somebody and tell him, no excuse today. God just co-signed for your deliverance. God just co-signed for your breakthrough. Everything that you need, his name is on it. He said, yea, though I walk, I got about 3 minutes, through the valley of the shadow of death. The Lord said this to me, Elder Green, and I took it personally before I could preach it to you all. The Lord said, son, you have to stop being ashamed of your testimony. Woo. Look at somebody and tell them, don't be afraid to testify. Because one thing I've learned about David, evidently, and I don't know, is this the way I'm preaching it today? So just, David evidently had a conversation with somebody that probably accused him of something that he did. And David said, you know what, this time I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, And the problem is God said for some of you, almost everything that you've been through will be in vain if you don't learn how to testify. Stop being ashamed of your valley situations. If you've been through it, you've been through it. Look at somebody and tell them, I refuse to shut up on my testimony again. Honey, that's the thing that's going to give me victory. So yes, I walked through the valley. Yes, y'all ain't going to help me here. Yes, I used to go to the club. Come on, look at somebody and tell them, yes, I did it. Talking about the rumors they spread. No, some of that stuff you did. But you got to tell the devil the truth. So when somebody comes to you, hey, I heard, you can tell them, I know, I put the rumor out on myself. Snatched the power out of the hand of the enemy. Yes, I had 5 babies out of wedlock. Yes, I dropped out of school. Yes, oh, y'all ain't saying nothing. Somebody ought to throw your head back and shout, yes, I did it. Oh, somebody got delivered. You get delivered by your confession. Throw your head back and shout, yes, I did it. Yes. Yes. I did it. David says, I walked through the valley of the shadow of death. Now, there's something here that we have to rejoice about because, and this is a simple revelation, but if about 10,000 of you all get this, I just want you to just Shabbat God. David says, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Well, wherever there's a shadow, that only means there's a light somewhere. All right, I think I only got about 3,000 of y'all. And I'm here to tell you that regardless of how dark your year has been in 2009, regardless of how many valleys you've had to experience this year, I don't care if it's been a valley of sickness, I don't care if it's been a valley of financial destitution, I don't care if it's been a valley of just drama. Touch somebody and tell them the good news is that he was right there by my side. His rod and his staff comfort me. Look at what he says. He says, thou preparest a table before me. Now we understand that this table here is not just a table, a board on 4 wooden legs. We understand that this is referring to the divine protection of God. But he says here that thou preparest a table before me. Understanding that that word before is not a place of location as in front of you, but he did it before you. See, you stressing about a problem that was worked out before you. You're going crazy about a way that's been already made before you. Touch somebody and tell them by the time you get there, it's going to already be done. I've got to bring this train to a close here. But I like what David says. He says he did it in the presence of mine enemies. You see, some of you all have been inviting the wrong people to your party. Because you know if you throw a party, you're going to invite your friends and your road dogs and your homeboys and your homegirls and your ace. You all know that. But touch somebody and tell them the next time you throw a party, y'all ain't going to help me preach now. Come on, talk to them and say, neighbor, tell them the next time you decide to throw a party, tell them make sure you put the devil on your guest list. Some of you ought to start right now. You use your phone anyway. Go ahead, pick it up and start texting some of your enemies and some of your player haters and some of the folk on your row and tell them, hey, you thought I was not going to make it, but the devil lied and he lost again. Not only did I make it, but I made it and I still got a praise. My praise is my weapon. He says, thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. And one thing I love about David,